My very first recollection of Grandpa happens in his backyard, near an old shed on the left-hand side of the garden. I remember being called over to see Old Bluey, a huge blue-tongued lizard that had taken up residence under the shed. I distinctly remember him pointing out its gray skin and telling me to be patient and wait for it to open its mouth so that I could see its big blue tongue. I remember sitting quietly with him on the back steps early in the morning, watching the kookaburras and eastern rosellas fight each other for a prime spot on the old clothesline, which was twice as old but not nearly as sturdy as little Paul. At least Grandma didn't think it was as sturdy as Paul, as she used to give Paul the business every time he ran, jumped, and hung on to the thing for dear life as it swang around over the decline of the hill. Grandpa would chuckle and say, "Now, Paul, that's not a toy," with a wink and his ever-present smile admonishing me. Another recollection of Grandpa I have involves hunting for funnel-web spiders. We used to go to the right side of the front yard with an old canning jar, a stick, and me with a bunch of trepidation, watching my big strong Grandpa tickle the nasty poisonous spiders into the jar. It always confused me why he didn't just spray them all, killing them and keeping his yard free of the Black Death. But that's my Grandpa. He loves life, all life. I remember picking up frangipani flowers and making a necklace with my sisters and being asked to pick the flowers that had already fallen from the tree. And I remember one big event where I systematically picked all the seed pods from the jacaranda tree on the right side of the driveway, otherwise known as Paul's Marble Raceway, which I am sure broke my nature-loving Grandpa's heart, but once again he said, "Don't do that, dear," with his smile and sparkling eyes. Grandpa instilled an ever-present love for nature and life in general in me. We used to sit for what seemed like hours reading old National Geographic magazines in his office downstairs. The office, of course, was filled with seeds for next year's garden and jars with all types of interesting things in them. He would point out different places that he would like to visit and places that he had already been. He would tell me tales of life in the Solomons, fighting storms and hunger and helping the people who he lived with there. I would fall asleep at night with dreams of riding on small boats in the Pacific with my Grandpa, exploring the little islands and watching all the fish in subtropical temperatures, only to wake up seeing my breath as I heard Grandpa busily trying to start the wood stove in the living room in the room next door. Grandpa loves life. He loves his girls. He loves his son-in-laws. He loves his grandkids and great-grandkids. He loves his nature walks and his friends. He loves people in general, and every living thing, whether it's creepy or crawly, bites or stings, or grows slowly in the yard. Above all else, Grandpa loves God. One of my last memories of spending quality time with Grandpa was at Manly Beach. I was trying to stand up on Uncle Ray's styrofoam surfboard. Hour after hour I got up on my knees only to fall face first into the surf. When I finally got up on shaky legs and looked around to see who was there to appreciate my spectacular accomplishment, there was Grandpa, standing in the shallows, cheering me on. I don't know how long he had been there, watching me fall time and time again. It had to be a tedious endeavor. But that moment, as fleeting as it was, meant the world to me. I knew my Grandpa loved me enough to watch me fail and fail until I finally succeeded. That's the type of man my Grandpa is. As with all good things, it came to an end when we left for the States. Grandpa would say hello on the phone and ask about life and how things were, but there really isn't anything that substitutes itself for a warm hug and a Grandpa smile. Time flew on as it tends to do, and now we find ourselves in 2009. My Grandpa is 90 years old, and I'm 38. He's skinnier, and I'm a bit fatter. But we still both love each other to death. Not even distance or time can affect the love that exists between my strong Grandpa and his loved ones, as I'm sure everyone here can attest to. One of my greatest regrets in life is that my own children didn't get a chance to see their Grandpa and go on nature walks with him to see the old man in the cliff. The old man in the cliff fell down years ago, and my kids are Yankees, miles away from my dear Grandpa. However, although they may not get to see him, I get to see him and them every day. My dear Grandpa, let me tell you about your great-grandkids here in the United States.
Hey, Grandpa, I'll try to catch a touchdown for you on your 90th birthday.
Tyler is a growing boy, 16 years old now. He loves his sports, whether it's baseball, football, wrestling, or anything competitive. He excels in them all. His mannerisms surprise me at times, and I see you in the way he attacks life with a sense of purpose. He is a good young man.
Hi, Grandpa. It's me, Ian. Just wanted to wish you a happy birthday.
Ian is 12 now. His love of National Geographic magazines and space and science completely reminds me of you. But most of all, his kind, loving nature exposes him as your great-grandchild. Ian is always sticking up for the downtrodden and teased at school. He doesn't let social expectations or popularity get in the way of looking after those who most need a friend. That's my grandpa all the way.
Josh here, just wanted to wish you a happy 90th birthday.
Joshua, now 11, is a tenacious boy who will stick with things to their completion no matter what the obstacles. In fact, the bigger the obstruction, the more determined the boy gets. It reminds me of my grandpa raising 4 girls as a missionary in the Solomons, determined to make a difference in the world no matter what got in his way. Joshua reminds me of you with his smile as well, which I saw right after he was born, right before he was put on a respirator to fight for his life for 3 weeks. His middle name, Alan, is there for a reason.
Hi, Grandpa. It's Nate. Happy 90th birthday. I love your cucumbers. Grandma and Dad still grow them for me.
Nathan, my youngest at 10, is the most inquisitive person I've ever spent time with. In the span of 15 minutes, he'll hit you with hundreds of questions spanning the realm of cosmology, to biology, to mathematics, then wrap it all up by asking why we are here at all. I imagine he is a lot like you were at his age, and I expect his love and interest in life and the world around him will not ever fade, not even at 90, just like you. Lastly, there's my lovely wife, Margaret. She is a rock for me, just like Grandma was for you. And when life gets tough and there doesn't seem like a way out, I can always count on her steadfast nature to keep me from falling into an abyss of self-pity. In those times, I often think about you and how you treated your wife and loved your kids and did all that with a smile on your face, no matter how impossible the odds and obstacles. Happy 90th birthday, Grandpa. Your life truly is a template for all of us to look up to. If I can affect the lives of others in 1/10 the way that you've succeeded in doing, I will consider my life one that has been well lived. Thank you for your love and humanity. Your grandson, Paul.